The world was never supposed to know what existed beyond its own thin veil of reality. For centuries, humans stared into telescopes, chased radio signals, and built equations that came close, almost close, to the truth. They imagined the cosmos as an endless stretch of stars, galaxies, and dark matter. But they missed the one truth that mattered most. The universe was never alone. On a quiet night over the Pacific Ocean, at precisely 3:11 a.m., that truth finally broke through. Captain Elias Rowan was on night watch aboard the oceanic research vessel Helios Wave, drifting 30 miles off the coast of Hawaii. The air was clear, the water was calm, and the only sounds were waves brushing the hull and the rhythmic beeping of the ship's long-range sensors. He'd been expecting another uneventful shift. Instead, the horizon tore open. It happened without warning, without a tremor, without even a whisper. One moment the sky was seamless darkness. The next it was split by a glowing line. Thin as a hair, bright as a newborn star, stretching from one edge of the horizon to the other. Elias stood frozen, coffee mugs slipping from his fingers, shattering against the deck. The line widened. Electric violet light pulsed inside the fracture, washing the sky in a color no human eye had evolved to understand. The clouds twisted into impossible spirals, bending upward as though they were being pulled into the tear. Then the ship's comms erupted. Elias couldn't answer. He reached trembling fingers toward the binoculars, but he didn't need them, because something was coming out. Shapes, dark ones, humanoid silhouettes with shifting geometric patterns across their bodies. Triangles, fractals, spirals, glowing faintly as if made from mathematics itself. Their movements were slow, deliberate, and utterly alien. They floated, not flying, not levitating, just existing in a way that ignored every known law. And they were looking for something, or someone. Across the world, satellites activated emergency protocols. Governments scrambled. Astronomers panicked. But only one person knew what the phenomenon meant. Dr. Aria Solen, quantum physicist at the Helix Institute. She had spent her entire life studying theoretical multiverse junctions. She was mocked, doubted, ignored, until tonight. Standing on the rooftop of the institute, she stared at the fracture. The violet light buzzed under her skin, familiar in a way that terrified her. "It's a boundary," she whispered. Her assistant, Dev Mishra, clutched her arm. "A boundary between what and what?" "Between one universe and the next," she thought. Before she could answer, the creatures turned. Every one of the dark beings rotated in the air. Faceless heads aligned, bodies straightened like tuning rods. Slowly, deliberately, they aimed their attention at her. A voice filled her mind, vibrating like 1,000 futures overlapping. "Aria Solen, you are required. The multiverse is collapsing." The rooftop trembled. The fracture widened. The beings extended their hands, inviting, demanding, calling to the one human who didn't belong to a single world. Aria Solen realized the truth she had spent her whole life running from. She was never meant to exist in just one universe. She was a bridge, a fault line, a key. And tonight, the multiverse had come to collect her. The moment Aria stepped toward the glowing fracture, reality itself folded around her like liquid light. There was no sensation of movement, no falling, no rising, just a sudden shift, as though her entire existence had blinked from one coordinate of reality to another. When her vision cleared, she stood in a vast circular chamber, floating in a glowing white void. No walls, no ceiling, no floor, only an endless horizon of shimmering nothingness. This was not space. This was not a universe. This was something older. Before she could breathe, a voice echoed through the chamber. "Welcome, Aria Solen of Earth Prime." Figures emerged from the brightness, 5 beings, each radiating a distinct energy. They were humanoid in shape, but each carried the unmistakable aura of cosmic authority. Aria felt the weight of their presence the way one feels gravity. The tallest stepped forward. His entire form rippled like sound waves trapped in a humanoid shell. "I am Kalen, sovereign of the harmonic universe." Another approached, liquid metal flowing like mercury, solidifying into a smooth silver form. I am Vyra, queen of the lumen flux realm. A third figure shimmered in and out of temporal distortion, flickering like a broken hologram. I am Salamar, ruler of the loop-bound continuum. The fourth was a towering construct of shifting code, lines of glowing script forming a mechanical body. I am Hadian, architect of the digital dominion. The final figure was smaller, almost human in appearance, but its skin glowed with layered constellations. And I, it said softly, am Muriel, guardian of the astral nexus. Together they formed the Council of Endless Worlds. Aria tried to speak, but her throat locked. Her mind fought to understand what she was seeing. Why? Why me? She finally whispered. Vera stepped closer, her body melting and reshaping with every movement. Because you are not bound to a single universe, you exist uniquely across all timelines simultaneously. The fracture sought you. We merely guided it. Aria shook her head. That's impossible. I'm just a scientist. You are a convergence, Kalen corrected. His voice vibrated the chamber. The multiverse rarely births such beings. You are a living tether between worlds. Hadian's coded form pulsed, and that makes you the only one capable of resisting the being responsible for the collapse. Aria inhaled sharply. The collapse! Muriel raised his hand, and suddenly the chamber darkened. A massive cosmic projection formed above them. Thousands of universes swirling like glowing beads on an infinite web. At first it was beautiful. Then she saw the decay. Whole clusters of universes were missing, erased as if someone had cut pieces out of existence. Others flickered faintly, destabilizing. Fractures, like the one she saw in Earth's sky, appeared along the edges of hundreds of realities, pulsating ominously. Something is eating universes, Salamar said, flickering, erasing them from history, from memory, from possibility. A shadow spread across the projection, expanding like ink in water. We call it the null, Kalen said, a force not of creation or destruction, but of unmaking. Wherever it spreads, reality ceases to have ever existed. Arya felt her knees weaken. And my universe? Muriel's voice dimmed. It is next in the path. The fracture you witnessed was the first sign. Then send your armies! Send your technology! Arya shouted. You're telling me you have universes at your command and you can't stop it? The council members exchanged glances. It was Salamar who answered. We tried. Entire legions were sent into the void. All erased. Our strongest champions. Erased. Worlds fortified with cosmic shields. Erased. Vera lowered her metallic gaze. The null devours anything that touches it. Anything except you. Arya froze. What do you mean? Hadian projected a rotating hologram of Arya's genetic structure, except it wasn't just DNA. It was layered with shimmering quantum threads, stretching into parallel universes. Where others exist in a single timeline, you exist in many, he said. The null cannot unmake what exists everywhere at once. Your essence slips through its erasure. You are immune. Immune. For a moment, Arya didn't breathe. Her entire life, her strange dreams, her sense of déjà vu, her uncanny intuition, everything suddenly aligned. So what do you want from me? She whispered. Kalen raised his arm toward the cosmic projection. We need you to travel between universes, to gather the remnants of the only weapon ever capable of stopping the null, a weapon forged in a place no council member dares return to. A place outside time. Salamar finished the sentence. Universe 0, the origin realm. Arya's heart pounded. Universe 0 is a myth. So were you, Vyra replied. The chamber shook, subtly but unmistakably. Muriel glanced upward. The null grows stronger. The fractures widen across the lattice. Kalen stepped forward, towering over Aria. Your mission begins now. Will you accept your role, Aria Solen? The multiverse stands on the edge of extinction. Aria closed her eyes. She thought of Dev, of Earth, of a sky torn open. When she opened them again, her voice was steady. Tell me what I need to do. Aria expected her journey to begin with a portal, a ship, or at least some kind of cosmic instrument. Instead, the council led her toward a narrow walkway of light that appeared at her feet, stretching endlessly into the white void. It looked fragile, insubstantial, a mere thread in infinity. But when she stepped on it, it held. Kalen walked beside her, his form humming with resonance. This is the bridge of divergence. Every step you take chooses a reality. Every breath alters the direction of your path. The bridge senses your quantum alignment and leads you to universes where your presence is stable. Stable? Aria echoed. Vira flowed behind them, rippling. Yes, not all universes can withstand multiple versions of the same being. Some collapse, some distort, but do not fear. We will guide you. The bridge twisted gently, and the void rippled with shifting colors like liquid prism light. Aria felt her pulse slow, her breath deepen. She felt connected, as if the walkway was reading her. Your first destination, Solomar said, appearing beside her in a flicker, is Universe 7. There you will find the first fragment of the origin weapon. Hadian's coded voice followed. But you will not be alone. Universe 7 contains a version of you. Battle area. She commands an entire resistance force. A version of me? Aria whispered. Miriel smiled softly. You will meet many versions of yourself before your journey ends. Some will resemble you. Others, not at all. The bridge flared sudden bright blue. A portal ripped open, and Aria stepped into Universe 7. The world she entered was a war zone. Skies filled with burning smoke. Cities collapsed into wastelands of steel and debris. The air vibrated with gunfire and the roar of alien engines. Aria ducked instinctively as an explosion shook the ground. Stay low, Kalen's voice echoed in her mind, though his form did not appear. Your variant approaches. Aria turned and froze. Striding toward her through the smoke was herself, but scarred, armored, hardened by survival. Battle Aria wore a suit of metallic plating, etched with tactical symbols from a world at war. Her hair was short and uneven, her eyes sharper, colder. You're the Prime, Battle Aria said, scanning her. The one the council was babbling about. Prime. Aria's throat tightened. And you're me. A version, Battle Aria corrected. Don't get sentimental. We're here for the fragment, not for bonding. Still, she stared. Here was a version of herself who had fought armies, survived battles, commanded troops. Aria could barely keep her plants watered. The fragment? Aria asked, forcing herself to focus. Battle Aria pointed to the shattered sky above them. A colossal floating ship crackled with red energy. It's in there, but we're not the only ones hunting it. The Null has sent its proxies. They're erasing this universe first. As if on cue, shadows rippled across the battlefield. Humanoid void creatures, different from the geometric beings Aria had first seen, descended like ink dropped onto the air. Anything they touched dissolved into dust. Aria's heart hammered. How do we fight them? We don't, Battle Aria said grimly. We outrun them. Now move! They sprinted toward a ruined tower where a resistance transport awaited. As they ran, Aria sensed familiar déjà vu. Echoes of actions she hadn't taken. Memories not hers. The bridge within her, the connection to all versions, hummed. The tower shook from an explosion nearby. Battle Aria shoved her forward. Don't freeze, you're supposed to be the special one, remember? Aria shot back. I'm a physicist, not a soldier. Battle Aria smirked. Then consider this your crash course. They reached the transport, a sleek hovercraft with glowing blue engines. As the doors slid shut, Aria saw the Null proxies swarming the streets, dissolving entire buildings with their touch. The hovercraft shot upward, weaving through falling debris. Where is Fragment 1? Aria demanded. Battle Aria tossed her a small hologram projector. A glowing map formed. Inside the warship, a core of origin energy, the only thing the Null can't fully consume, but it's unstable. Once removed, this universe will collapse within minutes. Aria looked at her sharply. You're willing to sacrifice your world? Battle Aria's jaw tightened. My world is already lost. If our deaths save the multiverse, it's worth it. The hovercraft pierced the hull of the floating warship. Inside the corridors were filled with pulsing red lights and shaking metal. Alarms echoed everywhere. The core is down this hall, Battle Aria said. Aria followed her, heart racing, until they reached a chamber glowing with swirling white energy. The core floated at the center, a sphere of brilliant origin light. The moment Aria stepped inside, the core reacted, threads of energy reaching toward her. It's responding to you, Battle Aria whispered. Go, take it. Aria extended her hand. The energy wrapped around her palm, humming with recognition. And then, the world ruptured. A null proxy emerged from the wall, its void body twisting like oil. It lunged at Aria. Battle Aria leapt between them, shoving Aria out of the way. The proxy touched her, and she dissolved. No! Aria screamed. With tears stinging her eyes, she grabbed the core. Light exploded around her. The universe collapsed, and Aria was pulled back onto the bridge of divergence. Alone, holding the first fragment, her variant was gone. But the mission had only begun. The bridge of divergence steadied beneath Aria's feet as she appeared once more in the white void. The glow from the origin fragment pulsed softly in her hands, warm like a heartbeat. But Aria did not feel triumphant. Her chest was tight, her throat burning. Battle Aria was gone. A version of her, stronger, braver, forged in war, had died protecting her. Aria sank to her knees, gripping the fragment until her knuckles whitened. She shouldn't have died, Aria whispered. She deserved more than erasure. Muriel emerged beside her in a burst of soft starlight. Every version of you is aware of the risks, Aria. Variants do not fear death. They are born from divergence. They know they may end in convergence. Don't justify it, Aria snapped. She didn't have to die. Vera's metallic voice shimmered behind her. Sacrifice echoes across the multiverse. Hers will strengthen your resolve. You carry not just a fragment, but her legacy. Aria stood shakily. I'm not here to be a vessel of legacy. I'm here to stop the null. Now tell me, where is the next fragment? Kalen materialized, his form vibrating with low thunder. Universe 19, a world where you lived a peaceful life. Aria blinked. Peaceful? How? Muriel answered softly. In that reality, you never pursued physics. You became a writer. You lived quietly. You married. You have a son. Aria stopped breathing. A son, she whispered. The council exchanged glances. Solimar stepped forward, temporal distortions rippling around him. You must prepare yourself. Meeting loved ones that were never yours is one of the greatest emotional hazards of multiversal travel, but the fragment resides in that universe, within the life you never lived. Aria's voice cracked. Why there? Hedion projected a hologram of a family home. Warm light, open windows, a child's drawings on the walls. The origin fragments gravitate toward stability, continuity, emotional resonance. That universe's Aria, Mother Aria, became the anchor for Fragment 2. Aria swallowed hard. Then let's go. The bridge shifted beneath her, weaving itself into a new pattern. A soft golden glow appeared at the end. Gentler than the violent portal that led to Universe 7. Aria walked forward. Universe 19, the life she never lived. Warm sunlight, the scent of pine trees, the distant sound of children laughing. Aria stepped into a small suburban street lined with maple trees that blazed orange in the afternoon light. Birds fluttered above. A breeze carried the smell of earth and distant rain. No war, no chaos, no fractures in the sky. This world was beautiful. She walked slowly toward the small house at the end of the road. A bicycle lay on the grass. A chalk drawing decorated the driveway. A tiny handprint in paint was stamped on the front door. Her breath hitched. She knew that handprint, even though she had never seen it before. Suddenly the door opened. A boy, maybe 6 years old, ran out holding a toy spaceship, dark hair, bright eyes, a wide grin. He skidded to a stop when he saw her. "Mom?" he whispered. Aria froze. The boy blinked. "Mom? Why do you look different?" Before Aria could speak, another voice came from the doorway. "Eli, dinner's almost—" Mother Aria stepped outside. Aria gasped. Here she was. Same face, same eyes, but softened by life and love. Her hair tied in a loose bun, a kitchen towel over her shoulder. A warmth in her expression Aria had never seen on herself. Mother Aria stared. Her eyes widened with the shock of recognizing herself. "You're me," she whispered. Aria nodded. "I'm from another universe, and I need your help." Mother Aria ushered her inside quickly. Eli followed, confused but trusting. The house was cozy, family photos, shelves of books, drawings taped to the fridge. Aria felt like she was intruding on a dream she was never meant to see. Mother Aria seated her at the table. "I know why you're here. The council warned me years ago that one of us might come. The fragment, it's inside me." Aria's heart lurched. "Inside you?" Mother Aria nodded, placing a hand over her chest. "I absorbed it when Eli was born. The energy imprinted onto me. That's why I've been healthy, why I dreamed of other worlds, why I always felt you." Eli looked between them. "Mom, what's happening?" Aria knelt to him. "You're very brave, Eli. Your mom, she's special, and I'm here to keep her safe." But Mother Aria shook her head. "You can't keep me safe. Not from what's coming. The Null has already sensed the fragment. It's coming here next." Aria stiffened. "No, not this world, not him." Mother Aria gently lifted Eli into her arms. "I've known my role for a long time. This universe is stable because of the fragment. Removing it will destabilize everything." Aria's eyes burned. "You're telling me this universe will collapse? Just like Universe 7? Mother Aria nodded. "Yes." Aria stood abruptly. "I won't let that happen. There must be another way, another timeline, something, anything." Mother Aria approached her. "You can't save every world, Aria, but you can save all worlds. The multiverse. That is your purpose." She took Aria's hand. "Let me do mine." Aria felt her resolve crack. Tears fell. "Eli needs you." Mother Aria kissed her son's forehead. "He will never remember the collapse. The Null erases without pain. And in other universes, other versions of him exist." Aria sobbed quietly. "It's not fair." "It's not," Mother Aria agreed softly. "But it is necessary." The house trembled. The lights flickered. A cold wave rippled through reality. "It's here," Mother Aria whispered. She placed Eli gently on the couch, tucking his toy spaceship beside him. The boy, sensing something he couldn't understand, began to cry. Mother Aria pressed her forehead to his. "I love you across every universe." Then she turned to Aria. "Take it." She closed her eyes. A burst of brilliant white energy erupted from her chest. The fragment tore free, shimmering, radiant, pure. Mother Aria collapsed. Eli dissolved. The world disintegrated into dust. Aria screamed as she was ripped back into the void, two fragments in her hands and the echo of a sun she never had carved into her soul. She fell to her knees on the bridge of divergence. She didn't speak. She didn't breathe. She simply wept. The cost of saving the multiverse had become clear. The moment Aria, Elias, Dev, Lyrix, and the remnants of the council stepped through the final portal, they entered a realm unlike anything the multiverse had ever contained. It had no sky, no ground, no distance. It was a dimension shaped from unfinished equations, from half-formed possibilities, from realities that had never been born. Every step sent ripples of unmade universes, drifting outward like ink in water. This was the origin void, the place where all timelines began, where all futures converge, where all destruction led in the end. Around them floated fragments of existence, pieces of cities that were never built, echoes of people who were never born, stars that collapsed before they could ignite. Everything shimmered and dissolved like a dream unable to hold its own shape. Lyrix knelt, lowering its fractal head, its geometric lines dimming. The collapse source is near, but the closer we move, the more unstable realities become. Nothing here has a fixed form. Elias steadied Aria's arm. So we keep moving before we become part of the scenery. Dev swallowed hard as a floating fragment drifted past. An image of himself, older, holding a child he had never seen. The fragment flickered and dissolved into glowing dust. What happens to us? Dev whispered. If we fail? Aria looked up at the swirling storm of unmade universes ahead. Then everything that ever existed, or could exist, ends. All timelines collapse into silence. She stepped forward. The ground reformed beneath them, thick, pulsing, like the surface of a beating heart. The light shifted. Shapes emerged from the darkness. Not creatures, not people. Reflections. Aria froze. Before her stood another Aria, a version dressed in armor woven from luminous silver threads, eyes sharp and cold. Beside her, Elias faced a reflection that wore a captain's uniform of a world where the seas had turned to metal. Dev confronted a towering reflection of himself, cybernetic limbs humming with power. Even Lyrix found itself mirrored, its counterpart made entirely of void-black geometry, consuming light instead of emitting it. These are our parallels, Aria whispered, versions of us that never lived. They exist here, because this place holds every possibility. The reflected Arias spoke in perfect unison. Turn back. You cannot contain the origin fracture. You cannot stop what is already in motion. Elias drew himself upright. We didn't come this far to take orders from ghosts. The reflection stepped forward, each movement echoing with the gravity of infinite abandoned futures. Aria closed her eyes. They're not here to fight us. They're here to test us. This place responds to doubt. If we hesitate, if we fear, if we break, this realm will devour us. She opened her eyes and stared at her reflection. You're not my enemy. The reflection tilted its head. Then who is? Aria pointed beyond the mirrored versions, toward the swirling vortex of violet light collapsing inward. That, the origin fracture, the epicenter of the multiverse collapse. The others followed her gaze. The vortex pulsed violently, pulling in timelines like a black hole swallowing stars. Each pulse erased a universe somewhere far away, a timeline flickering out forever. Lyrix stepped forward. The fracture feeds on imbalance, on contradiction, on all versions of a single truth existing at once. Aria nodded slowly. Then the only way to stop it is to bring those truths together. She approached her reflection. The silver-armored Aria looked down at her with cold intelligence. If we merge, only one of us remains. Aria placed a hand over her heart. Then let it be the one who chooses to save everything. The reflection hesitated, then stepped forward. Light exploded. Their bodies merged, two halves of a single infinite possibility, snapping together like magnetized particles. Aria staggered, gasping, as power surged through her veins. Knowledge from 1,000 unrealized futures filled her mind. Battles she never fought, loves she never lived, choices she never made. Elias and Dev watched their reflections step back, fading like shadows at sunrise. Lyrix's reflection dissolved entirely. Aria stood taller now, her eyes glowing with new clarity. We end this, she said. The origin fracture roared. Aria raised her hands, channeling the power of all her merged selves. Light expanded from her chest, pouring into the fracture. Elias and Dev anchored her, each gripping her arms, their own energy stabilizing the wild surges. Lyrix projected a geometric lattice around them, preventing the void from swallowing them whole. The fracture resisted, screaming in frequencies that shattered unformed stars. Aria pushed harder. Reality trembled. And then, silence. The collapse stopped. The fracture sealed. The multiverse exhaled. The origin void began to melt away, timelines stitching themselves back into place. Colors returned, shapes solidified. The ground beneath them firmed into something real. Elias stared at Aria. Are we alive? Aria smiled faintly. We are. And so is everything else. Dev wiped his eyes. What happens now? Aria turned toward the fading horizon of creation. We go home, but the multiverse won't ever be the same, and neither will we. Lyrix approached, bowing its luminous head. The Council recognizes Aria Solen as guardian of the infinite threads, the first of her kind. Aria breathed slowly, letting the weight of those words settle. A guardian, a protector, a bridge between worlds. Elias clapped a hand on her shoulder. Whatever comes next, we face it together. The team stepped forward as the final portal formed, bright, stable, welcoming, and with steady hearts they walked into a restored multiverse, the beginning of everything new.